Hello again, year 3. So, second part of our English lesson. As you can see with my board today, I have been a little bit more prepared. I've prepared myself a bit better. So I've got my date and my title. Remember, our title is narrative. Again, we're writing a story, a fiction story, so it's a narrative. And you'll see that this side of my board is set up slightly differently. So there's lots and lots of elements to our sentences today, and it's really what's going to help us, you'll see, make our sentences and our paragraph as a whole just be fantastic, okay? So we'll go step by step very carefully, but the main things that we're trying to include in our writing today are a precise verb. So remember, an even better doing word, an even better verb for the one that I give you. Then we're looking at including a complex sentence. A tricky one, that one, but we'll go through it as we get there. And then a simile, and we're all very, very good at coming up with similes now. So, let's begin. We've been introduced, we saw in the video, or you should have seen now, the introduction of our main character, this blue umbrella. And did you notice how different he was to the other umbrellas? Yeah, I think there's a reason. He's the main character. He's a little bit special. Okay, so to begin our story today, we need to think about how we first saw the umbrella, how he emerged from all those other umbrellas. All those other umbrellas were black, were dark, they were, boring, and they were the same. So we want to talk about the blue umbrella emerging from a sea of black, perhaps. All those black umbrellas, perhaps he emerged from a sea of blackness, or a sea of grey. A sea of grey. I wonder if you have any other ideas to finish that sentence. The blue umbrella emerged from a sea of darkness, perhaps. So I should have said, actually, you might need to pause the video now to go and get yourself a bit of paper and to jot these ideas down, and then you can record them on the sheet that you send to me on the computer afterwards. Okay, so if you need to pause the video now to go and get a piece of paper and a pencil, please do that. Okay, so we're thinking this blue umbrella, he emerged from a sea of grey, a sea of darkness, a sea of perhaps chaos. If you think of all the busy people walking with their umbrellas, perhaps he emerged from a sea of chaos. I can't wait to see what ideas you guys have come up with. A sea of misery, a sea of gloom, maybe. Gloom or misery. Gloom. You might even go so far as to say he emerged from a sea of grey faces. Okay. Then, moving on to this box here, we're looking for that precise verb now. So, how... I've said emerged. I said the blue umbrella emerged. So, emerged is the verb. I wonder if you can think of any other verbs for how to describe how we first saw the blue umbrella. You might say he appeared, perhaps. He emerged, or he appeared from a sea of darkness. You might like to say he popped up, maybe, or he bounced. It's really up to you. He popped up. Really think back to that video clip that we've just watched. He popped up. Did he bounce up? Did he, perhaps he arose from a sea of misery? Arose is a really nice word to say that someone rose up. He arose. Remember, get these ideas down. You need to write your favourite 3 at least to give you some options for when you write on this side. Perhaps he surfaced or he burst up. Surfaced or burst. It's really up to you. Get your favourite 3 written down. Oh, sorry, I do have a very squeaky chair. Okay, and then the last part of this first sentence is we need an adjective to describe him. What did you think of when you first saw him? Perhaps you thought he was smiley, maybe. Perhaps you thought he was happy or excited. He certainly looked happier than the rest of the umbrellas, didn't he? Happy. Excited. Now I know lots of you will be able to give me a better word than happy. Happy. What about elated or joyful or cheery? That's a good one. I like that one. Cheery. Cheery. Or cheerful. Cheerful. Or perhaps joyful was the other one I quite liked. It's up to you. You might have a different word to describe him. But there we go. There we have the three parts that are going to make up our first sentence. So as you can see, our first sentence alone is going to be packed full with all these clever writing techniques. It's really going to wow me when I read your work later on. Okay, so this is the start of it. So we're going to think about our umbrella emerging from this sea of grey, or this sea of whatever the adjective is that you choose to describe it. So, moving on to this side here then, out of a sea of grey, out of a sea of grey. I'm choosing grey. You might choose out of a sea of darkness, out of the sea of misery, out of a sea of gloom, maybe. Out of a sea of grey, comma. Okay, we're taking a breath here, we're punctuating with a comma. Out of a sea of grey. Then we're choosing an adjective to describe our blue umbrella. I'm going to choose a bright blue umbrella. Those are my adjectives, but yours might say a smiley blue umbrella. It's important to get that word blue in there because it's the title of the story. That's an important part of our character here. So out of a sea of grey, a bright blue yours might say a dazzling blue, or a joyful blue, or an excited blue umbrella. An excited blue umbrella, or a happy blue umbrella, a dazzling, a smiley blue umbrella. Here comes our precise verb. Emerged. A bright blue umbrella appeared, a bright blue umbrella popped up, a bright blue umbrella surfaced. It's up to you. Go back to your verbs that you've written down and choose your favourite one. A bright blue umbrella emerged. I really like that word emerged. I think it makes it sound like he really tried hard to pop up and show his face. So, got my capital letter here to start with. Out of a sea of grey. Okay. You can change that word grey. A bright blue umbrella. Here are my adjectives. You need to include blue, but you might choose a different adjective here. A smiley blue umbrella, an excited blue umbrella, a cheerful blue umbrella, emerged. There's my precise verb that really is important in this sentence, my precise verb. Okay, pause the video and get your sentence written now, okay? Right, moving on to our second sentence of this paragraph. So, we need to think about perhaps how this umbrella, this blue umbrella is feeling. So, happy, let's say. I think he looks happy. Can you come up with some better words for happy? Let's see. He's happy, perhaps he's Pleased is a nice one. I will be pleased when I see what you're writing later on. I can't wait. Pleased. Let's see. Perhaps he is delighted. Perhaps he is thrilled. Remember, we're thinking about how he's feeling here. Thrilled. Perhaps he is elated. That's a really strong word for happy and positive feelings. If you are elated, you're on top of the world. You just couldn't get any happier. So, elated. And then we're going to think about what he's up to. Okay, he popped up and it was almost like he was just so happy. He was almost dancing in the rain. He was bobbing up and down in the rain. He was having a great time. He looked happy. So let's think of some synonyms for danced. Perhaps he, I know you're going to be really good at this. Perhaps he, lost my pen lid. Perhaps he jived is a good one. Perhaps he was twisting. Perhaps he twisted amongst the raindrops. Let's see. Perhaps he waltzed and he swirled and he twirled. If you think of an umbrella, maybe twirling. That's a nice word. Twirling. Twirled and swirled and waltz, maybe. Waltz is a kind of type of dance. Just check that I spell it correctly because it's not an easy word to spell. Waltzed. Perhaps he danced, perhaps he jived, he twisted, he was twirling, he swirled. Perhaps we need to make this twirled. Waltzed, it's up to you. So you need at least 3 synonyms for happy and 3 synonyms for danced. So pause the video and get those written now. Then we're moving on to this side. So we need to express time, place and cause. So let's see. It's a complex sentence. So how we're going to start a complex sentence is we're going to start it with his feeling. So choose your favourite feeling. How is he feeling? I'm going to choose elated. That's how I'm going to start. I'm going to explain how he's feeling straight away. Elated. Perhaps I better do this one in a different colour. That might be better. I've dropped my pen lid again. Here we go. Right, there we go. Ooh. Let's do blue this time. Elated. It's important after you're feeling, there's a comma there. Elated, because we're going to explain. Elated. Out of a sea of grey, a light brown umbrella emerged. Okay, then I'm going to provide you with part of a sentence. Elated with a sense of fulfillment. Couldn't remember then whether I had a double R or not. Comma. So elated with a sense of fulfillment. So you're going to choose in a moment your favourite feeling with a comma, and then you're all going to write with a sense of fulfillment. Now fulfillment means that he's feeling like nothing could be better. He's feeling great. He's feeling wonderful. He's happy. He looked happy, didn't he? Elated with a sense of fulfillment. Here comes our verb. Elated, comma, with a sense of fulfillment, comma. We're describing what he's doing now. So I'm going to choose danced. You might choose 12. He danced amongst is a funny word. Amongst, he's with other things, he's in the midst of other things. He danced amongst the... Now, I was going to write raindrops, however, if you remember in the video, the raindrops sounded like they kind of were making music. So I'm going to choose to write, he danced amongst the musical raindrops. And you can add that in too if you like. He danced amongst the musical raindrops. I didn't want to just end on raindrops. I wanted to give an adjective there, the musical raindrops. So, elated, there's my feeling, comma, with a sense of fulfillment. He danced amongst the musical raindrops. Yours might say, delighted, comma, with a sense of fulfillment. He jived amongst the musical raindrops. I can't wait to see your ideas and how you've changed that second sentence to make it your own. You're always full of great ideas, Year 3, and I can't wait to read it. So, on to the last sentence. We're looking for a simile here. So, what you will need to do now, pause the video and write your second sentence, okay? Please remember to put in those commas. Look, comma after your feeling, comma after fulfillment. Okay, pause it now and get that done. Okay, third and final sentence. So, we're going to be writing a simile to describe how he watched the people moving on their way to the station, on their way home or wherever they were off to. So, let's imagine our blue umbrella is intrigued, is fascinated by watching people on the move. He's really taking in what he can see. So we need some other words for fascinated. Now that's not an easy task. So let me give you some of my ideas. So perhaps he was feeling inquisitive, perhaps. Intrigued is a nice one. Intrigued. If you are intrigued about something, you are curious. You really want to know more about it. Let's have curious in there. I like that word. One of my favourite words. Let's have captivated or entranced. If you're entranced by something, oh my goodness, you cannot take your eyes off of it. You're so interested. So captivated and entranced. I can't spell. Captivated. I don't know if you can see this down here, or you will be able to. Captivated and entranced. Smaller board than I work with at school, so I'm struggling to fit all my ideas on. Captivated, entranced, perhaps absorbed. Let's put one up here. It's up to you. Choose your favourite two. Get them written down. Is your blue umbrella fascinated? Is he intrigued? Is he curious? Is he captivated? You tell me. You write your favourite two ideas now. And then we need something you're going to be very good at. Some different words for jumping. So I'm imagining that my blue umbrella is watching people jump over puddles like ballet dancers. Okay, or sploshing through puddles like elephants. There's my simile, using that as or like. Okay, so jumping, leaping. Describe to me how these people on their way home from work, how they're moving. Are they splashing in puddles? Are they jumping? Are they leaping? Are they bouncing? Are they pouncing? Are they vaulting? I don't mind. Let's get these ideas written down. Leaping over puddles. Perhaps they are splashing through them. Splashing through them like elephants, maybe. I like that. Are they bouncing? Are they stomping? Give me some verbs to describe stomping through the puddles, like heavy-footed wildebeest. I don't know. Like wildebeest rushing through a lake. I don't know. It's up to you how you want to describe these people on their way homes. Are they springing, perhaps? You choose 2 or 3 adjectives to describe people on their way home in a wet, damp, rainy New York City, okay? If you need to have another look at the video to get some inspiration, then please do that. Okay, pausing the video here just to get your ideas down, and then when you're ready, play it again and we'll move on to our final sentence. So, let's see. We're going to call our umbrella Blue. I think that's a simple, nice name for him. Blue watched. So we imagine that he's watching these people on their way home. Blue watched. Here comes our word for fascinated. You might write here absorbed, intrigued, curious. Blue watched, fascinated. Fascinated. Really tricky spellings in these ones, Miss Palmer. Goodness me, try hard with those spellings, okay? Blue watched, fascinated, as he saw what? I'm going to make that even better. I'm going to not do that just yet. I'm going to write 2 of these words. I'm going to write Blue watched, fascinated and curious as he saw spelled S-A-W, remember? People. So he's watching the people. Now here comes my simile. Choosing a word from here. Blue watched, fascinated and curious as he saw people stomping through puddles like elephants, leaping over puddles like ballet dancers, like bouncing their way home like, I don't know what that, like kangaroos, okay? It's up to you. You've got to pick one of these words and think about something you can compare it to. If you choose springing, you need to think of something to compare the people to that springs. So perhaps watching as he saw people springing on their way home like gazelles, perhaps. I don't know, up to you. Compare it to something. So I'm going to choose as he saw people leaping over puddles like ballet dancers. Okay, remember you must include that word like to compare the people to something else, because that's what makes it a simile. That's how you're going to get your tick for your simile, okay? Blue watched, fascinated and curious as he saw people leaping over puddles like ballet dancers, okay? You're always super at coming up with the similes, year 3, so I cannot wait to see what you've come up with. I've just spotted, I've forgotten my full stop, silly Miss Palmer. So, you need to choose your own word for fascinated. I've written fascinated and curious. Those are my 2 words. See if you can come up with a different combination of 2. Fascinated and... you can have curious if you want to. You might write Blue watched, captivated and curious as he saw people bouncing over puddles like kangaroos, okay? I like that one too, and I also like stomping like elephants, but it's up to you, and I can't wait to see what you've come up with. So that's the end of today's video. Pause it here so that you can finish and write down that last sentence. And then, similarly to yesterday, on the sheet of paper, the task document from Google Classrooms, what you've written down on your notes paper, if you could write it in the table that I've set out on that document and then send it in to me so that I can see all of your ideas. Don't forget to write your ideas as well as your paragraphs, okay? I hope that makes sense, and any problems let me know, and I just cannot wait to read your writing, okay? See you on Monday.